Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask him to send peace and blessing his beloved and our beloved Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're continuing the chapter on Salatul Jama'ah, the hadith of that. So Imam Malik rahimahullah narrated from Zayd bin Aslam, who narrated from a man from, his name was Busr bin Mihjin, who narrated from his father that he was in the majlis of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and adhan for salat was called. Rasulullah ﷺ stood up and he led salat, and then this man, he went and then he came back, sat in the majlis. So Rasulullah ﷺ said, why didn't you pray with us? مَا مَنَعَكَ أَن تُصَلِّي مَعَ النَّاسِ لَسْتَ بِرَجُلٍ مُسْلِمٍ? Aren't you a Muslim man? Like Jamaat, he went out and then he salat finished, then he came back in. He said, yes Rasul, but I prayed with my people. So he must have been from one of the other masjids or his own area or his family. Right, he prayed at home. He's prayed his Jamaat already, but he came to Masjid Nabawi. There was other masjid, we know that those who've been to Madinah Munawwarra, the Masjid Quba, Masjid Qiblatain. There's like these outskirts. Now it's just like 5-minute, 10-minute drive. But if you think in that time, there's like small villages at the boundary away from the main settlement or the main city. So Rasulullah ﷺ said, if you come, then you pray with the people, even if you prayed already. So if the Jamaat is there, the idea that explanation, that idea that you refrain from joining the Jamaat of the Muslims, there is something odd with that. If you're not going to join with the Muslims are praying together, then you should join the Jamaat. Even this masjid, like during, for example, Taraweeh, people come late. My father used to get very upset. Like when Taraweeh is going on, another Jamaat is established for the people who are late. They're doing their Fard Salat. He said, no, there's only one Jamaat where the community in the masjid, there should not be praying multiple Jamaat at the same time. For obvious reasons, that's the Jamaat of the masjid now. Pray your Fard wherever else and or outside or individually, but don't contradict like in the community, like that split. Speaking of splits coming up. But anyway, let's not get into that. Imam Malik narrated from Afif bin Amr al-Sahmi, from a man from Bani Asad, that he asked Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu, that if I pray in my house and then I come to the masjid, so he prayed his fard in the house, that's what we're referring to. And then I find that the Imam, he's praying. Should I pray with him? Then Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiallahu anhu said, yes, na'am, salli ma'ah. That yes, pray with him, with the Imam. And he goes, and you will have, if you do this, then you will have the share of the Jamaat, or the equivalent of what is in the Jamaat. Because technically he's prayed his Fard Salat already. And Nafi' said that a man asked Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhuma, that he said, indeed I prayed in my house, and then I came to and the Jamaat hasn't happened yet. Like he might have prayed, he thought he was early, he was late, he was going to miss time or something, and then he came, the Jamaat is still in the masjid. He was driving past, he popped into the mosque. Like sometimes here we fix the Asr time is 3:30, so someone could have prayed and then come and they see the Jamaat is going on. Now, and then Abdullah bin Umar, he said yes, he asked the question, should I pray with the Imam? And he said yes, pray. Then he said, which one of the two is my salat then? Right, this is like our thinking probably as well. Which one is actually my salat? Then Ibn Umar said, أو ذلك إلي إنما ذلك إلى الله يجعل أيتم شاء. That's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pick whichever of your salat is your salat. Imam Malik narrated from Yahya bin Sa'id that a man, because it's not like generally the rule is that the fard is what you did first, and once you ticked it off, because you don't leave that door open however long, because you can just say, I'll fix it up again, and then I'll fix it up again, I'll do another fard, and I'll do another fard, and then I pick, but you don't know which one is more acceptable. Qabuli or something is we'll find out which of our amal we accepted on the Day of Judgment. We hope all our amal accepted. It could have been the first one. That's Allah's prerogative, which amal that He accepts. Something might be fard and might not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something's nafal and is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't know. We make the effort, we hope, we have raja, hope, expectation that our amal is accepted. But we're not going to find out here And that's one of the gifts given to the people in Jannah, is, if I remember correctly, Hadith Ibn Qayyim Rahimahullah, that people in Jannah will sit with each other and they will talk about which a'mal was accepted. That's one of the enjoyment. Oh, that salat that I did, that istighfar that I made, I got forgiven for. Because you'll know the outcomes of all your a'mal. Right? You'll know all which salat was accepted, which fasting was accepted, which Eid was accepted. I'm joking, right? Please don't throw something at me. But when this time comes, the Imams, we put our helmets. We put our helmets on. We get ready. We don't know which one, which Laylatul Qadr got accepted. On and on and on and on. So we'll know actually, inshallah, we hope Allah accepts our amal. And then, but the mu'min, when he's in Jannah, he will know all his deeds got accepted. Like that tasbih was made while driving, nobody saw, as an example. Like it's an amazing thing. Like that's a gift given to the Jannah. He will know which a'mal they were pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. Imam Malik, he narrated from Yahya bin Sa'id that the man asked Sa'id bin Musayyib that I pray in my house, right? And then I come to the masjid and I find that I already prayed my fard. I come to the masjid, Imam is still praying. Should I pray with him? So all the answers so far of the Sahaba and Tabi'een, Sa'id Musayyib from the Khair al-Tabi'een, all of them are saying the same answer, pray. Because then which one of them I should make my salat? Like your intention is made when? Before. Now you've done two. So if you pray two, which one is the one that I pick? This is like a post-act. He said, أَوْ أَنْتَ تَجْعَلَ إِنَّمَا ذَلِكَ إِلَى اللَّهِ. This is not same thing as the Sahabi replied. He said, this is Allah's prerogative. This is not something for you to determine. Imam Malik, who narrated from Nafi', who narrated from Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhuma, that he used to say, whoever prays Maghrib or the morning prayer, and then he finds that, now this is his fatwa, that he finds the Imam, then he should not repeat it. This could be interpreted like if you stand in Jama'at, then which salat's mentioned? Morning. Why? Because there's no salat after morning. According to in the Shafi'is, yes, there is. You can do your sunnahs afterwards. Other salats can be there, like the Jama'at is there. But in the other madhab, like the Hanbali madhab and the Hanafi madhab, there's no salat after the fard of salat you've done until sunrise. There's no salat. Even if you miss your sunnahs before, you do them after sunrise. So this is a time not to pray. Imam Shafi rahimahullah he had a different view, and there are certain salat like salat zawatul asbab, salat that has a reason, like tahiyatul masjid. If you walk in masjid, you can pray them after fajr even. Right? There's a leeway there according to him, rahimahullah. And also in maghrib, why? Because it's 3 rakats. There's no 3 rakat nafal. Like you've done your fard, maghrib, then there's no 3 rakat nafal prayer. So Allah alam, that's maybe why he said do not repeat the salat. So this is regarding the ruling of someone who prays by himself and then comes to the masjid. He prays the fard, right, and then comes to the masjid. And even for us, this is kind of unusual as well. Like if you pray, then you come to the masjid. There's another jamaat going on. As nafal, you can stand behind the imam, keep in mind those things that I just mentioned. That a person, if a person comes to salat and then he doesn't get the jama'ah, or he gets a jama'at, then he completes the salat. Imam Malik narrated from Ala bin Abdurrahman bin Yaqub and narrated from his father and Ishaq bin Abdullah that both of them told him that they heard Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu saying that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if the iqamah is called, then when you come to it, you should come to it with sakina. And if you haven't got the jama'at, like if you missed it, right? It's because the iqamah could be heard in the neighborhood. Maybe you heard the iqamah, but you should come to the salat, but you should come at the time, because this is just immediately before salat. You shouldn't be running immediately before salat. You shouldn't be rushing to the salat. And if you miss it, then you pray it. And if you get the salat, then you complete the salat afterwards. So this is about completing the salat afterwards. Imam Malik narrated from Shihab that he narrated from Abbad ibn Ziyad, and he was from the children of Mughira bin Shu'bah, who narrated from father Mughira bin Shu'bah radiallahu anhu, and that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, and Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he was leading the people. Rasulullah prayed 1 rak'ah. Rasulullah prayed Rasulullah after salat he prayed a 1 rak'ah. And then and they prayed, let me just read this again. And he prayed the 1 rak'ah for them. The people were a bit confused, like they were surprised. When Rasulullah ﷺ finished his salat, he said, "You've done well," like in terms of the people that came afterwards. Imam Malik narrated from Nafi' that Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu heard the iqamah, and he was in Baqi'. So we call Jannat al-Baqi'. I think that's a subcontinent thing that we call Baqi al-Gharqad. It's the actual name. Baqi is the cemetery of Madinah Munawwarra, the main cemetery. And there's fada'il and there's rewards for that. People buried there, manaqib for them, rewards for them, and it's auspicious to be buried there. And he said, فَأَسْرَعَ إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ, that he hastened his pace to the masjid. So it's not like one is to go with sakina, but also at the same time that he was in Baqi', and then he heard the iqamah, and then he quickened his pace to make it so he doesn't miss the jama'ah. And this is the Shah Waliullah says, this is the huwa qawl ahli al-ilm, and in Fatawa al-Mgiriyah, it means the person that comes late, then what he does at the end of salat, like let's say he comes late and he joins the salat late, he will complete the actions of the end of salat, right? If you miss 2 rakat, in actions, what are you doing? You're doing the end of salat. You come in Maghrib salat, right? You come in Maghrib salat, and your actions after you've missed the first 2 rakat. Your actions you're doing after is what? The actions of the end of salat, but your reading is of the beginning of salat, right? In short, that's what it's saying here. And then, and there's a discussion around this as well. And if you, the next section is about the person who catches the imam in the ruku', then he makes the, is 1 takbir enough that he joins the imam? So the imam is in the ruku', and you come and join the salat. Is 1 takbir enough that you go, or you're making Allahu Akbar and then Allahu Akbar for ruku', right? So we've got a mujtahid mutlaq on the side already gave me the so we'll find out in a second. Malik from Ibn Shihab narrated that he used to say that when a person catches the imam and he makes takbir, إذا أدرك الرجل ركعة فكبر تكبيرة واحدا أجزأت عنه تلك التكبيرة. That if he catches the imam in the ruku', he's getting the rak'ah. Getting the rak'ah means he catches the imam before the imam gets up from ruku'. So he makes a takbir, the 1 takbir suffices in the place of 2. And قال Imam Malik said, وَذَلِكَ إِذَا نَوَى بِتِلْكَ التَّكْبِيرِ افتتاح الصلاة. So there's a condition. Imam Malik said that if he intended by this, not the ruku', this is not the takbir for ruku', he intended by this the opening of salat, then he meets the imam where he is. And in Fatawa al-Mgiriyah, which is a Hanafi fatwa book compilation, that mudrikul imam fi ruku'i la yahtaju ila takbirataini khilafan li ba'dihim, that he said that the person who catches the imam in the ruku', he does not need to do 2 takbirs, right? And it doesn't matter ولو نوى بتلك التكبيرة ولو نوى بتلك التكبيرة واحدة الركوع لا افتتاح جاز ولغت نيته. So there's a discussion around. So there is the point of being this discussion, there is some ikhtilaf regarding this. إذا فاتت الركعة فقد فاتت السجدة, that if you miss the rak'ah, then you've missed the sajda, meaning whatever comes afterwards you missed as well, right? If you join the imam, let's say you join the imam in a 4 rakat salat in Isha, if after the ruku' you have to repeat that whole rak'ah, meaning the sajdas as well, like imam's getting up from ruku' and you catch the imam, so you missed the whole rak'ah. So whatever's afterwards as well, you didn't just miss the Fatiha, the beginning and so forth, you missed everything. So even the sajdas as well. So Imam Malik narrated from Nafi, that he narrated from Abdullah bin Umar, that he used to say, if you miss a rak'ah, then you've missed the sajda. Imam Malik narrated that he's reaching that Abdullah bin Umar and Zayd bin Thabit, both of them used to say, whoever misses the rak'ah, then whoever catches the rak'ah, meaning the ruku', then he's also got the sajda as well, in reverse. And they answered in reverse. Imam Malik narrated that he's reaching that Abu Hurairah used to say, whoever gets the rak'ah, catches the rak'ah with the imam, meaning in the ruku', he has got the sajda, and whoever misses the qira'ah of Quran, meaning Surah Fatiha, then he has lost all khair. Alright? So it's not just getting into the, like some in Taraweeh, people do this. They sit at the back and until the Imam finishes long, then he jumps up. I don't think kids do this because they technically they got the rak'ah. But what the Sahabi is saying, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, if you miss the Fatiha, not just the surah and the qira'ah, he missed the Quran. That's so important. Then he's missed that on all. قَدْ فَاتَهُ خَيْرٌ كَثِيرٌ. So we shouldn't be, there's rewards for being takbir al-tahrim and takbir al-ula, that we pray salat right from the first takbir. Right? Here we give so much time, like we have alarm clocks and then 10 minutes extra and then, notifications, and the calendar time is later than the app's 5 minutes late. So we got all these extra warnings. We can put an alarm clock. We got apps. We can put, even the apps have so many functions to give you 10 minutes notification, on and on and on. There's one Shaykh of Madinah Munawwarra from South Africa. He had this 2 alarms on his phone. One alarm at the beginning of the day and one alarm at the end. With the alarm, put a notification, like a name that what will you do today? Like in terms of making Allah, pleasing Allah. He said, we have all these tools, right? But like we use them all for dunya, like it's fine. But we have all these tools that help us in our deen, propel us in our deen. The productivity tools, apps and so forth. There's a million of them. And he said that even the alarm app, you can actually make it. And then at the end of the day, he's got an alarm that, before, like bedtime, what did you do today? What did you do? Like what amal did you do? What thing you did to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So like we should make use of productivity tools, for our akhirah and deen. We have no excuses. The follower, the one who came late, the next section is the one who came late and joined the Imam late. So he's got 2 rakats. Let's say he's got 2 rakats to do that he's missed. Then he should read loudly according to this narration, right? And according to others, he should read like an individual. There's different opinion, but there's a riwayah of Malik here, Nafi' narrated from Abdullah bin Umar, that if he missed anything from the salat with the Imam, then he used to raise his voice. Then he used to read himself afterwards. Abdullah bin Umar used to do this. That let's say he missed the first 2 rakat and then he's doing the 2 rakat after Imam. Then he used to read loudly. He used to read loudly in loud salat, like Jahri salat, like Isha. Then he used to read loudly because he missed the first 2 rakat, as an example. However, in Fatawa al-Mgiriyah mentions that the one who does, he should read like an individual. Generally, this is what we follow, what we do. And the reason is not to, Imam Malik seems to have taken that view. Other Imams have taken another view, which is that they read quietly, like they're praying individually. Imam Malik narrated that he asked Ibn Shihab, Zuhri Rahimahullah, and Nafi', the freed slave of Ibn Umar, that a man entered and the Imam was in Salat, and then he stood up after him. Should he make the shahud with the Imam? Let's say you join in a Maghrib. You're joining in the second rak'ah. The Imam is in the second rak'ah, he's going to do tashahud. But you're doing your first rak'ah. There's no tashahud for you. Right? So, if you're rak'atain, and he said, Na'am yatashahud. The answer was that yes, you make tashahud with him. You follow the Imam. Even though technically you're in your first rak'ah and he's in his second rak'ah, but you follow the Imam, you match the action of the Imam. So we need this tashahud. That's why in Maghrib Salat, for example, if you missed first 2 rakat, how many tashahuds are you doing?
It's going to be like that
3, exactly. So you are doing.
So do it at 3.
Yeah, exactly. So with the Imam, you follow the Imam. So you're doing an additional tashahud. Like it's not an additional tashahud, but that's the pattern of Salat. That's how I think we all know this, that we are following Imam, and then we're doing the actions of the end of Salat afterwards. It's the only Salat where there's actually 3 tashahuds. And Yahya said, and Imam Malik said, and this is according to وَهُوَ الْأَمْرُ عِنْدَنَا, meaning عند الأحناف, Shah Waliullah is a Hanafi scholar. وقال يحيى وقال مالك وهو أمر عندنا. Imam Malik narrated from Ibn Shihab, he narrated from Sa'id al-Musayyib, that he said, ما صلاة من يجلس في كل ركعة منها ثم قال سعيد هي المغرب إذا فاتك منها ركعة قال ما ذلك السنة الصلاة كلها. وقلت وقول علماء. So just same thing, same masala is being repeated. And then just gives an explanation of that as well. I'll just finish off this section. Although I said 20 minutes for this, I just finished this because the next is about qasr, shortening the prayers and traveling. Imam Malik narrated from Nafi that Abdullah bin Umar, that he said, whoever forgets a salat and doesn't remember it, and he's imam, so then, okay, so someone is he missed the salat, he forgot about it, like as-salatul asr. Then let's say salat, he's praying salat al-asr. Then he remembered he didn't even pray dhuhr, totally forgot, right? And he's with the imam, right? Now he's in jama'ah. Then he should do salam. He should pray the salat that he forgot, right? And then pray the he was in asr salat with the imam. He should pray the salat that he missed first, because the tartib is important. There's a thing about sahib tartib. If a person has no qada salat in his life, there's a discussion around this, then he has to maintain the tartib. Like let's say he's got no qada salat at all in his life. He's with the imam, he realized, then he has to break because he has to do the zuhr. He does his zuhr and then joins the imam, continues with the imam for asr.
So he should leave the salah and
Yes.
do takbir again.
No, pray his own. No. By his own, yeah. And there's a discussion around that as well. Can he pray? Huh? There's a big, yeah. The reason is because according to many imams, the salat, the imam and the follower's intention has to be the same. So one can't be praying dhuhr. I think the Shafi'is, if I can remember correctly, top of my head, they're a bit lenient on the intention of the follower and the imam. Can we have different intentions?
Regarding the following intention, you're telling us now you have to follow the intention of imam. Sometimes someone just doing sunnah.
Yeah, that's in the Hanafis you can't do that. The Hanbalis you can't do.
Follow him as a fard.
Correct.
So it's different intention here.
Correct.
So
You can't. For example, yeah, this is the thing. Like in Australia, because we have people of different madhahib. So one guy's praying individual salat. I'm mentioning this because if you're in a certain country, let's say you're in Egypt or you're in Pakistan. Pakistan, 99% of people are generally Hanafi. The idea that someone is praying and you just go up, tap him and join him, this is like unheard of. Because he has to be an imam, has to make intention from the beginning. In Hanafi, you have to make intention as imam from the beginning. And if you don't make intention for Jamaat, you're just praying your own salat. If somebody comes and taps you, just ignore him, right? And that's correct. And in the other madhab, you come and tap, right? And they join the person imam, whatever the imam is doing. You could be praying any salat, and you join them and they do Jamaat, and that's also correct as well. As far as I know, that's also correct as well. So, but this is talking about a person who's missed. It's a specific case, right? The riwayah is about a specific case that Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu is answering, and he's saying that whoever forgets a salat and then he remembers, and then he has to maintain the tartib, the order, and the basis of the order is what? In Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the battle of Khandaq, when he because of the battle and all the pressure, the war, then Rasul and Sahaba, they couldn't pray. So in the evening they prayed all their salat in order. So that the breaking the order, the salat is invalid. Right? You have to do it in tartib. Like the 5 salat have to be done in order. So here the reason why you break, if it was a simple matter of just finish with asr with the imam, then do ma zuhr afterwards. If tartib didn't matter, for the imam, these imams, the tartib matters. The tartib has to be maintained of dhuhr and then asr done. Hence he break a salat because it's not even asr. This is not even an asr salat. I mean, this is a very specific mas'ala case. It's not an everyday situation. Just the last section. Whoever gets a rak'at with the imam, he gets the salat. Imam Malik narrated from Ibn Shihab, who narrated from Abu Salama, who Ibn Abdul Rahman, who narrated from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever gets a rak'at, meaning he just gets the part of the rakat, salat, he has got the whole salat. There are a few masail related to this, what this actually is telling us. What this hadith is telling us. Generally, we'll read it and we'll say, fuqaha will read it, they'll take so many other masail out of it. We'll read it, whoever gets a rak'ah, right? Whoever can get one rak'ah, a part of a rak'ah, then he's got what? He's got the rakat with the imam. That's how we would understand it. There's 3 understandings taken from this hadith. One is that whoever gets a rak'ah, then he's got the whole salat, right? If you catch a salat before salam, you got that last rak'ah, part of the last rak'ah, then you got the salat with the Imam. Yeah, ideally you should pray with takbirut ula, so, but you're actually part of that Jamaat, and you've got you've actually prayed with the Imam, right? Your salat. That's the first understanding. The second understanding is that this is related to the person who gets the rak'ah, not with Imam, because the hadith doesn't mention Imam. It's a person who can get at least before, like Zuhr time, right at the end. If a person can just get in there a few minutes before, it's not, you shouldn't leave it till that time, but let's say just before the Asr time, Adhan happens, he just gets in, gets Allahu Akbar, and he got the time of Zuhr, and his salat continues into Asr time as an example, or like, therefore he's got this is only for people that have excuse and so forth, but let's say that he got it, and this is also from this is another masala that expands out from this, which is that a person who's sick, let's say he salisul bowl, he has urine drops, or he cannot hold his wudu. How much time do you need to have for, like you need 5 minutes, let's say, to pray dhuhr, right? So he's not excused from missing the salat. If he can get some time, man adraka rakatan min as-salati faqad adraka salat. If a person can get some time, these ma'zurin, that person he's got a uzr, right? Sharia is uzr, but then he can get enough time in there that he can pray, the bleeding stops, or the injury stops, or the break in the wudu stops. Then he's got there's enough time in there for him to fulfill the fard. And the last one is that if a person gets the jama'ah, he gets in al-jama'ah, he gets it, like I mentioned at the start, that he gets it by just getting the first, like the person comes last second, he gets the jama'at, so he got the jama'at. So the first one is to do with catching if he gets one rak'ah in the time, getting in jama'at, and also for the person who's got al uzr, if he gets enough time, then he can fulfill the obligation in that time. From that hadith, inshallah.